prepared. Because June 26th, 2025 is not just another day, it is a subtle turning point, a moment suspended between timelines where the seen and the unseen meet. You may not notice it with your eyes, but your soul already knows. Something is shifting, the air is charged, silence speaks louder. A new frequency is humming just beneath the surface of your thoughts. The new moon has passed, but its seed lingers, and now that seed begins to stir. The old structures within you, the borrowed beliefs, the emotional clutter, they begin to loosen their grip. Today is not about doing, it's about becoming. The universe whispers softly, let go. Let go of the weight you've mistaken for truth. Let go of identities carved by survival, not essence. What rises now is raw, luminous, untamed. You are standing at the threshold of inner expansion, not through effort, but through alignment. This isn't fantasy. This is a vibrational recalibration, one that strips away illusion and draws you back to the essence of who you are becoming. The question is not, what should I do? But can I listen deeply enough to remember who I am? The portal is not out there, it's within. Step in, not with your body, but with your awareness. Before we go into this, I want you to do 3 things. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave the number 777 in the comments. You can also share it with someone you want to benefit from this video and support their spiritual awakening. Now let's go deeper. Jupiter's joy. And right now, this is perhaps what we need most in the world. Genuine, deep-rooted, heartfelt joy. On June 26th, the sky aligns the sun, moon, and Jupiter, and this vibration gently touches all our hearts. Moreover, this is no coincidence. This conjunction is very narrow, occurring within just 1 degree. Dense, intense, and powerful. Such a close conjunction creates a wave that expands not only in the sky, but also in our inner universe. Jupiter, the equivalent of Zeus in ancient Rome, but not just a god. It is also the origin of the word joviality, meaning joy. What Jupiter brings us is as much knowledge as it is enthusiasm, as much hope as it is vitality. It always thinks big, feels big, and dreams big. And yes, it makes big promises, sometimes more than it can keep. Even the physical structure of this planet tells us a lot. You can't step on it, you can't land on it, it has no solid surface. It's a massive gaseous body composed entirely of hot gases. It emits more than twice the amount of light it receives from the sun, making it an immense source of energy, a constantly giving, ceaselessly expanding entity. That's why, when we connect with Jupiter's energy, we feel the same way. Something inside us expands, feels like it's about to overflow as boundaries begin to dissolve. But this expansion isn't always peaceful. Sometimes it brings inner restlessness, because Jupiter doesn't just show potential, it amplifies it. Everything we dream of grows, yes, but so do our fears, anxieties, and impatience. If you suddenly feel overwhelmed today, if you're overthinking, if you want to do everything at once, that's the influence of Jupiter. The voice inside you, saying more is possible, may be squeezing your body and mind. However, it is important to remember that Jupiter is not just an impulse, but also a teacher. It whispers the lesson behind the exaggeration. It fills us with hope, but also reminds us of responsibility. True expansion comes not from superficiality, but from deep meaning. When we feel this conjunction on June 26th, a kind of call may awaken within us to live life more fully, more meaningfully, more honestly. This date reminds us that what we imagine is not only achievable, but already within us. And Jupiter says, allow it. Open up, expand. But first, remember what truly matters to you. These days you may feel a bit detached from reality, as if you're floating in abstract thoughts. Plans, visions, and great hopes may suddenly flood your mind. However, this energy doesn't just want to lift you up. It also seeks to guide you with an inner strength. Jupiter has no surface, just like that intuitive expansiveness you can't quite describe, but feel within yourself. Trying to control this energy is futile. You must collaborate with it, trust its flow, because it always reveals more. Sometimes this excess can be exhausting. In Jupiter's shadow lie excess empty promises, chaos, and detachment from reality. If you're trying to ignore your own limits today, overburdening yourself, or trying to do everything at once, stop. Take a deep breath. This sense of expansiveness shouldn't overwhelm you. It should nourish you. This sky is not only expanding your goals, but also your intentions. Who do you want to be? Why do you want to expand? Do you want to expand your life or deepen its meaning? Jupiter's energy only becomes a true guide when directed from the heart. Otherwise, you may get lost in exaggerated dreams and become alienated from yourself. So today, listen more to your inner voice. Choose not more, but what is right. Look at what is expanding your soul. Perhaps this sky is whispering to you. Life is calling you to a greater you. But this greatness is not outside, it is inside. The Sun, Moon, and Jupiter. Currently in the first degrees of Cancer, 3 or 4 degrees apart, tightly embraced. This conjunction is not just a celestial closeness, it is also an opportunity for inner alignment. It means the convergence of emotions, consciousness, and belief at the same point. The Sun represents our identity, the Moon, our emotional memory, and Jupiter, the areas we believe in and wish to expand. And these 3 are currently in the same water, under the same waves. This could be a spiritual birth moment, but like any birth, it is not without pain. One side of this conjunction is full of hope and light, but on the other side, there are still traces of the powerful test we are going through, because this energy is simultaneously forming a square angle with Saturn and Neptune at the beginning of Aries in the sky. This represents the internal struggle between dreams and boundaries. Neptune offers us intuitive visions, but Saturn reminds us of our responsibilities. And Jupiter, caught between the two, wants to expand while also learning where to draw the line. The last few weeks have not been easy for this reason. Uncertainty, disappointment, emotional ups and downs. Many of us felt that something was beginning to resolve within us, but we couldn't yet understand what it would turn into. The second quarter of 2025 was indeed an astrologically intense threshold. The Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Jupiter successively moved into Cancer, clashing with Saturn and Neptune. These aspects both broke old patterns and urged us to develop a new sensitivity. However, the energy of the most challenging days is now beginning to fade. The squares are still there, but they have already shown their effects most intensely and delivered their messages. Now, a space is opening up to see what we have learned from these conflicts and where we have evolved internally. And this is where Mars comes into play, because the Sun, Moon, and Jupiter are currently forming a supportive, fluid 60-degree angle with Mars. Moreover, Mars is in the 3 to 4 degrees of Virgo. This is a very valuable source of support energy. Mars in Virgo shows its warrior spirit through silence. It carries unwavering discipline and strategic clarity. In this placement, Mars does not rush, but it does not move in vain either. And its soft connection with the Moon in Cancer allows emotional intelligence to meet physical action. This angle says, feel, but also take action. If you are tired, rest, but then plan. If you are broken, cry, but then reorganize. Let go of the unnecessary, grow the functional. When Cancer's protective, compassionate nature meets Virgo's constructive, organizing side, the result is both deep intuition and actionable determination. We can feel this internally as well. The desire to put things in order, the urge to return to the daily steps we have been putting off for a long time, the practice of living without suppressing our emotions, but also without getting carried away by them. Mars's involvement here reminds us that transformation does not happen just by feeling. Intuitive awakening remains suspended in the air unless it is put into action. These days are not just about insight, but also about taking action. Perhaps starting a project, perhaps defining a relationship with clearer boundaries, perhaps reconnecting with your body. Everyone's field is different, but the message is the same. Move forward with gentle determination. Still, this sky isn't saying, be tough. On the contrary, it suggests strengthening yourself with softness. It reminds you that sensitivity is not a weakness, but an inner radar. It emphasizes being productive without ignoring your own feelings, building systems with intuition, and creating a new bridge between spirit and body. Even the small steps you take during this period can yield significant results, because this sky supports small but conscious actions over grand gestures. Energy management, time planning, setting priorities, setting compassionate boundaries, all of these are gifts of this 60-degree angle. Perhaps that is why this period is whispering to you. You don't have to suppress yourself to manage your life. Just recognize what no longer serves you and gently let it go. Everything else will carry you forward. Remember, even the stormiest sky eventually calms down, but the sky within you never forgets how you responded. This week, hear, feel, and honor the simple yet powerful harmony the sky offers you, because this is the time to rebuild. The Sun, Moon, and Jupiter. They are currently gathering at the same point in the sky, in the first degrees of Cancer. This is a very rare, very precious alignment. What happens when the deepest desires of the soul, mental clarity, and divine vision come together in the same place? Something rises from within, a feeling that has no name yet, a direction that has not yet been put into action. But this soft glow does not come alone. Saturn and Neptune are still there in the first degrees of Aries, and this conjunction is still in a square aspect with those two planets. Yes, the pressure has eased. Yes, the most intense breaking point is behind us. But the cracks left by those squares are still there, especially the emotional turmoil of the past few weeks, the questions about who we are, and the search for clarity about the future. All of this came from those challenging aspects. Did you experience disappointment? Did you feel tired? Did you feel like you had forgotten what you were fighting for, what you believed in? It was not a mistake for these energies to squeeze you. Saturn was a test. Neptune was confusion. It wanted to tell you the truth, but in a roundabout way. But now a breath of fresh air is opening up in the sky. The Sun, Moon, and Jupiter all are in a supportive, deep, and meaningful connection with Mars. Mars is currently in the first degrees of Virgo, and this is emitting a very special frequency. Mars is not noisy here. It works quietly, meticulously, patiently, paying attention to details. But it knows one thing very well: how to get results. And when it is in this 60-degree angle with Jupiter, the bridge between imagination and action is built. The Moon brings emotion, the Sun brings energy, Jupiter brings vision, Mars brings all of these into reality. This harmonious angle whispers to you, it's no longer just a time to feel, it's a time to act. But this acting is not a forced movement you have to push yourself into. It's an unstoppable clarity rising from within. You don't even have to think about which step to take, because your body, heart, and intuition already know. Moreover, this aspect is like medicine for a weary soul. The sun's harmony with Mars brings not illness, but healing. Your strength may have diminished, but your capacity to recover is very high. This aspect offers you the space to rise again, both physically and spiritually. One thing is noteworthy. This new moon is not just here to start something new, it is also here to bring you back. The promises you made to yourself, unfinished intentions, dreams that have begun to fade within you. The trio formed by the Sun, Moon, and Jupiter is now moving out of the challenging squares. The fog is beginning to lift. A breakthrough has occurred. Now light is seeping through that crack. This sky is sending you a divine impulse. Take a small but meaningful step. Perhaps have an open conversation with someone. Perhaps start a project. Perhaps just take care of your body. But whatever you do it with today's energy. Because this new moon is lucky, but it's not luck coming from the outside. This is a reward for your inner effort, for what you've gone through, for the struggle you've endured. This sky is telling you, I was watching you. I saw you were tired, but I also saw that you didn't give up. Now take your turn. Now, take charge of your life. Right now, a lot of people are reaching a turning point. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's deep. Something subtle is shifting beneath the surface. There's this quiet voice inside saying, you can't keep living the way you used to. Not because it was wrong, but because it no longer fits. And that's the thing about true transformation. It doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it just arrives as a quiet knowing. And that knowing changes everything. You say you're ready to let go of what no longer serves you. But are you truly ready to see what leaves when you do? Are you ready for what falls away when you no longer cling to the old version of yourself? Because when you declare that, life listens, and it begins removing everything that doesn't align with your next level. This takes more than courage. It takes trust. It takes presence. But here's the truth. Whatever falls away right now was never meant to stay. Not in this version of you. You're not losing people, habits, roles, or dreams. You're releasing density. You're releasing the story you no longer have to carry. And with every release, something brighter takes its place. What used to feel familiar is now starting to feel heavy. What once brought comfort now feels too small. And that's how you know. You're evolving. Your energy is changing, even if your mind hasn't caught up yet. And yes, some days it will feel like you're breaking, like you're unraveling, but you're not falling apart. You're falling open, and everything that opens has the chance to receive more light. You're not being punished. You're being repatterned, realigned, remembered. And if you've been feeling off, tired, disoriented, emotionally raw, there's a reason. You're not sick. You're not lost. You're being rewired. This is what energetic recalibration feels like. The ringing in your ears, the pressure in your chest, the headaches, the waves of exhaustion. Your system is trying to hold more light than ever before. And your soul is expanding into your body in ways it never has. This is not burnout. It's breakthrough. You might not recognize yourself right now. That's okay. You're not meant to. You're not who you used to be. And you're not quite who you're becoming. You're in between. This space, the undefined, the transitional, the wild unknown, is sacred. It's where the magic happens. And even if it feels like no one understands what you're going through, you're not alone. Right now, across the planet, there are others like you, feeling the same pull, hearing the same inner call, shedding the same layers. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're just awakening. This new moon isn't small. It may look like a dark, quiet moment in the sky, but it holds a frequency of profound remembering. It's asking you to stop looking out and start looking in, because the clarity you seek will never be out there. It's in your breath, your stillness, your truth. This moon doesn't care who you used to be. It cares who you're ready to become. And when you ask yourself, what is this moon really doing to me? The answer won't be a sentence. It will be a feeling, a hum in your bones, a flicker behind your eyes, a pause in your thoughts. Something soft, something ancient, something yours. You may not have a guide right now, you may not feel part of a tribe, but there is a web connecting you to everyone else doing this work. It's unseen, but it's real. You are not walking this path alone, and the more you let go, the more clearly you hear the real you underneath the noise. You are not here to be everything to everyone. You are here to remember your frequency, to remember your truth, to walk your path without apology, without comparison, without delay. You don't have to have all the answers, you just have to stay awake, stay present, stay soft. Because this moon isn't here to test you, it's here to show you what's real. This is your reminder. Your body is sacred ground. Your emotions are valid. Your intuition is your roadmap. If it feels off, it probably is. If it feels aligned, trust it. Even if you can't explain why. The past is dissolving. The future is forming. But the power is in now, right here, in this moment, with this breath. You don't need to do more. You need to be more of you. Let the rest fall away. Let the noise fade. Let the false versions of you dissolve. This new moon isn't asking you to become something. It's asking you to remember who you've always been underneath it all. So close your eyes, listen, feel. Let the next chapter write itself not with your mind, but with your energy. You're not broken, you're blooming. And now, you've crossed the threshold. You've felt the tremble of what's ending and the silence of what hasn't yet begun. That space in between, that's where you build your truth. That's where July begins. Not with noise, not with goals, but with alignment. July isn't asking you to move fast. It's asking you to move honestly. This is not a month of rushing, proving, or fixing. It's a month of rooting. What you plant now, energetically, emotionally, spiritually, will carry into the rest of the year. This is the pause before the momentum. And in that pause, your clarity is born. So if you've been asking, what's next? Look in the mirror, not the calendar. You are the next. Your boundaries, your beliefs, your presence. You are the beginning. This month, speak less to be understood and more to be true. Choose simplicity over drama, depth over distraction, wholeness over perfection. Let your soul lead. Let your body rest. Let your heart soften. Because this July, your greatest power will come from one thing: being aligned with yourself. You don't need to rush to meet the world. The world is already shifting to meet the real you. And if you feel a little quieter than usual, more inward, more selective with your time and energy, that's not withdrawal, that's wisdom. July is a sacred invitation to come home to yourself, to listen deeper than you've ever listened before. There's no pressure to bloom loudly this time. Quiet growth is still growth. Rest is still motion. Not everything that's powerful has to be seen. Let this be the month you stop chasing and start choosing. The month you stop explaining and start embodying. You don't need to prove your worth. You just need to live it. The energy ahead is soft, but exacting. It asks for honesty. It asks for presence. It asks for your whole heart. So give yourself fully to your own unfolding. Trust that what's meant to stay will stay. What's meant to go will go, and whatever remains will be real. This is your time. Not to be everything, but to be you. Clearly, gently, and unapologetically. July begins with your truth. Let the rest follow.